week 7 of the fantasy basketball season's here. But here's a few centers that probably shouldn't be on your roster starting this week. The first guy's Bobby Portis, the Milwaukee Bucks. So Bobby Portis, he was a good waiver wire ad for a few weeks now, but now he's coming back down to earth a little here for this Milwaukee team, and his playing time's gone down a little as well. And so far, owners, they've dropped him in 7% of fantasy leagues, is Portis. And on the season, he's averaging 10 points a game, 7.4 rebounds, 1.1 assists, 72% from the foul line, 54% from the field, and he's ranked 116 on the season. But the last couple weeks now, his numbers have dropped down, 8.8 points a game, 5.8 rebounds, 1 assist, 75% from the foul line, 54% from the field, and we'll dig into the numbers a little more for Portis. In the last 4 or 5 games, he hasn't done much. January 18th versus Brooklyn, only 4 points, 7 rebounds. January 21st versus the Lakers, 4 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists. Then he had a big game the 24th versus Atlanta, 21 points, 6 rebounds, 56% from the field. Then versus Toronto, 8 points, 4 rebounds. The 29th versus New Orleans, 5 points, 4 boards. And then versus the Charlotte Hornets on the 30th, 11 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. So this Milwaukee team, they lost the last 2 now. And Bobby Portis, his numbers just haven't been consistent. And like I said, his playing time has been a little bit of everywhere. The last 4 games, he played 27 minutes, 17 minutes, 13 minutes, 20 minutes. So the consistency ain't there with his minutes. And the consistency hasn't been there in his stats and his game log. So right now, I think I would get away from Bobby Portis. And if he picks things back up, then you add him. But right now, he's a drop at the center position. The second guy's Wendell Carter Jr., of the Chicago Bulls. Wendell Carter, he's going to be out for 4 weeks now with a bad quadriceps injury, and it's probably going to be 4 to 6 weeks. They're going to reevaluate him in 4 weeks, the report is. He's still owned in 74% of fantasy leagues, but some owners already have gone away from Carter and dropped him in 6% of leagues. It's at 12.8 points a game, 8 rebounds, 2.4 assists, 72% from the foul line, 53% from the field. So on the season, Wendell Carter, he's ranked 166th. So he wasn't doing much for fantasy owners, in my opinion. He was just middle of the pack numbers putting up and being inconsistent as well, like a Bobby Portis that I just mentioned. So Wendell Carter, if you don't have many injured lists in your league, or all your injured lists are filled up right now, I would get away from Wendell Carter Jr. and probably put him on the wire, because say he's out another 3-4 weeks at minimum, that already takes us to week 10 or 11 of the fantasy season. And Wendell Carter, I don't know if he'll be in the plans much longer for this Bull team. We've seen Lauri Markkanen come back. He's been playing well. Thaddeus Young now, they got him in the lineup as well, and he's playing good. And you still got Otto Porter, and you also got the trade deadline coming up next month here in the NBA. So we'll see what's going to go on with Wendell Carter. But right now, if you don't have the room to stash him, he's definitely a drop. And the final guy I would look to drop at center this week's DeMarcus Cousins of the Houston Rockets. Cousins, he was a decent pickup last week, but now with Christian Wood back in the lineup after returning from an ankle injury, Cousins, the minutes haven't been there now. The last 2 games, he's really dipped off. 11 minutes and 14 minutes. Before that, he was playing a big workload, 33 minutes, 30 minutes, and then 33 minutes. And we saw him on the 23rd with his biggest game in a while, 28 points, 17 boards, 5 assists, 4 threes. Then he had a good performance, 19 and 11, with 5 steals and 4 threes. And then they cut his minutes back here as Houston since Wood came back. But this Rocket team, they're playing well. They won 5 in a row, but the 28th, Cousins, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal. And then the 30th, once again, only 14 minutes of play, 4 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. So DeMarcus Cousins, it looks like they don't want to play him a lot unless they really need him to, like they did last week where he played 30 minutes plus in those ball games. So right now, he's a guy, I don't think there's going to be consistent minutes for him. The Rockets, they're trying to have him on a load management type of thing where he's going to play but not play the major minutes because of his injury history. So right now, in shallow leagues, 8 to 12 team leagues, DeMarcus Cousins, I think he's droppable, and he's still owned in 60% of fantasy leagues. but I think that number should go down because I don't think he's going to play many minutes, and he's definitely a center that could be dropped this week. So that's a few centers I would drop here in week 7 of the fantasy basketball season.